What's up guys, Coach Matt here at the Lions Den. First off, thanks to Joey for having me on his channel again. And today I'm talking to you guys all about conditioning, specifically 3 different styles of conditioning that you can add to the tail end of your workout routine to help boost your overall strength program, and that won't eat up too much of your time in the gym. Conditioning is probably the thing I've improved on most since I've come here to the Lions Den. And I remember back from my original training, I was just doing the common powerlifting thing where I went, I don't really need conditioning, all I'm doing is strength training. And then I got to my first strongman session here, almost died in the warm-up. Note I say warm-up, and that was kind of my wake-up call for getting conditioning back into my programming. So I'm in the groove of about 2 conditioning sessions a week this past training cycle, and that was mostly strongman stuff, gearing up for a competition. This new training cycle I'm starting this week, I'm gonna try and push it to 3 times a week, and it truly does help your strength training progress. I know you've probably heard this 1,000 times over from your favorite fitness YouTubers, but the improvement to my overall strength program, the improvement to my ability to just handle volume in the gym is amazing. It'll also just have you feeling better outside the gym, walking around, all that kind of stuff. So it truly does help. I know you've probably heard that over and over again. So take it from the guy who wasn't doing any sort of conditioning in their program at all, bite the bullet, add it to your program, and you'll be so glad that you did. We're gonna keep this conditioning super short, 10 to 15 minutes at most, 2 to 3 times a week, and that's gonna be it. So you can definitely find a way to fit 10 minutes in your program 2 to 3 times a week. Key thing here is because these workouts are gonna be super short, we do want to keep them nice and intense. And intense here does not mean, heavy weights or strenuous resistance exercises. Intense here means, heart rate's up, and we've got heavy breathing going on. So this isn't gonna be steady state cardio where you can kind of have a conversation with the person next to you. The intensity level here should be at a point where you're really focusing in on keeping that breath steady, and you couldn't have a conversation with the person training next to you. And then other than that, the only other thing we wanna worry about is that the exercises we're picking aren't going to increase our risk for injury, and they're not gonna get in the way of our strength training routine. So any sort of resistance exercises that you're going to put into your conditioning workouts should be kept super light. So with my example here, I like to do strongman stuff. I'll do kegs, sleds, sandbags, all that kind of stuff. It's kept at a light enough intensity that it's not affecting my lifts in the main movements. Conditioning programming is a lot more loose and free throw than your regular strength training programming. So I'm going to give you some example exercises that you can do with these conditioning workouts, but you don't have to use the examples I give to you. Do whatever feels right for you, kind of play around with exercises, see what feels good, see what doesn't feel good, and create your own workouts. It's not something that's super strict or that there are a whole bunch of rules on. Conditioning workouts should be nice and free flow and fun. All right, on to the workouts themselves. The first one we're gonna go over here is gonna be an every minute on the minute style conditioning workout. So we'll keep the setup for this really simple, 3 to 4 exercises, 12 minutes on the clock, and you'll get through about 3 to 4 rounds depending on how many exercises you choose here. How it works is you'll have 1 minute to complete each prescribed exercise and the number of reps to it, and whatever time is left over in that minute is your rest time. So if you have 10 push-ups, you complete 10 push-ups in 30 seconds, you have 30 seconds of rest, and once that minute is up, you move on to the next exercise, and then you just kind of keep repeating this process for however many exercises you have. You'll keep this process going over and over again until you run that timer down to 0. Now, a good way to judge if you've prescribed yourself the right amount of reps for an every minute on the minute style workout is you'll have about 30 to 25 seconds of rest time left over. So if you're finishing with about 40 to 50 seconds of rest time left over, the exercises are probably too easy for you. If you're finishing with about 10 to 20 seconds, you're probably pushing yourself a little bit too hard. So that's kind of how you judge these workouts. And that's it. Super simple, keeps you honest, nothing too crazy going on. Now, next style of conditioning we can do here is called AMRAP. And AMRAP is a overall universal term for more than just conditioning. And what it just means is as many reps as possible. So in conditioning terms, we're going to set a clock. In this case, I'd recommend around 15 minutes. Choose about 3 to 5 exercises, and then just run through as many rounds of those exercises as we can until that clock hits 0. AMRAP conditioning ends up being a bit more chill than every minute on the minute style conditioning. in that you're kind of choosing when you're resting or when you're not resting. So if you're feeling good that day, you're probably going to push it a little bit more. If you're feeling off, you're probably going to scale things back a little bit more. So it's kind of like the RPE system of the conditioning world. And you really can't get any easier than this. Pick some exercises, set a clock for yourself, get after it. Alright, so the last style we can do here is Tabata, and this is probably the most intense style that we can do. So right off the bat, Tabata has been a little warped by the fitness industry from its original setup. So I'll explain two different styles you can do this. I'll explain the original setup, and then I'll explain a bit more gym-friendly version that you can run for a bit longer than just the 4 minutes of the original version. So the original Tabata was just a study done on a cycle ergometer, which is basically just a stationary bike used for strength and conditioning research. And what ended up happening was they ran the cycle ergometer for 4 minutes, 20 seconds on and 10 seconds off. The key caveat here is that the 20 seconds on was as hard as they could physically go. So we're not just talking, 90% sprints, we're talking 100% to the max sprints every 20 seconds, and then to get a 10-second rest, and you're going 100% to the max again for 20 seconds for 4 minutes total. This is one of those big landmark studies in the strength and conditioning world that kind of helps validate the short, intense bouts of aerobic exercises versus those long, steady state bouts of aerobic exercises. So if you are interested in this kind of stuff, I do recommend checking out that study. It's pretty cool. So if you're really trying to mimic Tabata to the max, I would recommend you do this on either a stationary bike, treadmill, outside sprints, or on something like a rower, and you're gonna just follow that protocol. So it's gonna be 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off for 4 minutes, and those 20 seconds on have to be to the max. So again, it's not 90% sprints, it's 100% to the max sprints. It's truly a diabolical setup for conditioning, but it will get you results. So if you want to try that out, you for sure can. The easier version to this would be kind of lowering the intensity level down, but keeping those intervals the same. So instead of 4 minutes, we'll extend it up to 12 minutes, and we'll do 3 bouts of Tabata instead of just one super intense one. So we'll still have those same intervals in place here, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 4 minutes, and then you'll take about a minute or two, get yourself back together, and go into the next Tabata and do a total of 3. Now, if you want to just use one exercises for each Tabata, that's completely fine. I do see that kind of being a little bit boring at times. So the thing we do here at the Den is we'll actually alternate 2 different exercises in one Tabata. So say you'd have push-ups and squat, you'd go 20 seconds on with push-ups, 10 seconds off, 20 seconds on with the squats, 10 seconds off, back to push-ups, and just keep alternating that back and forth for the 4 minutes. And that tends to keep things a bit more fun, a bit more interesting. And again, you're still getting that kind of conditioning benefit. Is this the traditional original Tabata? No. Is this still gonna get you good results and a solid base of conditioning? Yes. So you've got your 2 styles to choose from there. 4 minutes of super intense exercise, or 12 minutes of still intense exercise, but not that 100% all-out effort style of Tabata. So you can choose which one you like better there. And that's it, guys. 3 different styles of conditioning that you can tag right on to the end of your workout, and that shouldn't add too much extra time to your workouts and will really, really help out your overall strength progress. My biggest tip to you guys for this conditioning stuff is simply to keep it fun. Like I said, I love the strongman side of things, so I use light versions of strongman movements. Whatever you like, put those exercises into your conditioning workouts. It's not gonna be a good conditioning workout if you look at it, think you're gonna be bored, or just don't like the exercise at all, and don't even end up doing it in the first place. Again, conditioning program is pretty low stress stuff in this case, as long as you're not increasing your injury risk, not doing anything detrimental to your strength training progress, and getting that heart rate up, you're gonna be good to go. So don't stress the finer details of your conditioning workouts too much, guys. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for Joey for having me on the channel again. Hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see y'all next time.